Hi everyone, Kelt here, bringing you my thoughts usually on the British royal family, but today I'm going to be talking about Pope Francis, Meghan Markle, and things that are happening in the mainstream news that make us question what exactly is going on. So, on April the 21st, 2025, the Vatican announced the death of Pope Francis, the first Latin American pontiff, at the age of 88. Yes, 88 is significant. Hold that thought. The official report cited a cerebral stroke leading to a coma and irreversible heart failure as the cause of his passing. The news, while sombre, wasn't entirely unexpected. Francis had been grappling with double pneumonia and other ailments, including a 38-day hospitalization earlier that year. But let's stop and think here. The timing of his death, mere hours after a peculiar meeting with US Vice President J.D. Vance on Easter Sunday. So the meeting was on Sunday the 20th, 2025. That raised more than a few eyebrows. And then there's all the talk on X, where users are pointing out that Pope Francis looked different in recent photos. Some even suggested he might not have been the same man at all. And combine this with even broader distractions like Meghan Markle's comically oversized trousers and the UK's latest bizarre announcement of this brilliant idea, allegedly, of cooling the sun, and you start to wonder, are we being played? Is all of this a grand spectacle to keep us from asking the real questions? So, the Vance visit, was it a coincidence or was it a calculated move? J.D. Vance, the 40-year-old Catholic convert and Trump administration's vice president, landed in Rome during the Vatican's Jubilee year, a time of pilgrimage and pomp. The official narrative, he was there to celebrate Easter and smooth over tensions between the Vatican and the Trump administration, which had clashed over immigration, climate policies and more. On April the 20th, 2025, Vance met Pope Francis for a private 30-minute audience. The Vatican's press release was predictably bland. Discussions of global peace and shared values. But ex-users were not buying this. Posts were flooding the platform, questioning the timing. One says, and I quote, "The Pope meets Vance and dies hours later, ? Am I the only one who finds this sus? ? Another user wrote. Another one said, J.D. Vance walks in and the Pope walks out permanently. Coincidence? So the skepticism wasn't just about timing. Some people pointed to Vance's political rise, his ties to tech billionaires like Peter Thiel, and his rapid ascent from hillbilly elegy author to Trump's right-hand man as evidence of a deeper agenda, because he did used to criticise and speak out against Trump quite a lot. Vance is a puppet for the elite, one user claimed. What did he whisper to Francis? That he couldn't wait until after Easter. Others noted the Vatican's recent financial scandals, including the ongoing trial of Cardinal Angelo, I don't know how to pronounce the name, convicted of embezzlement in 2023, but still a lingering shadow. Could Vance's visit have been a power play, a message delivered on behalf of unseen forces? And why was the meeting so brief, with no public photos released? The Vatican's secrecy only fueled the fire. What was said in those 30 minutes, and why did Francis's health take such a catastrophic turn immediately after? I have my thoughts on this, and I'll tell you in a minute. The Pope's changing face, is it a double or a distraction? Even before his death, X was abuzz with speculation about Pope Francis's appearance appearance. Photos from early 2025 showed a man who, to some, didn't quite match the Francis of years past. His nose looks different, one user posted, comparing a 2023 image to a January 25 one. The ears off and his eyes, something's not right. Another user shared a side-by-side and showing what they claimed were discrepancies in facial structure. This is not the same guy. Is it a body double or CGI? And what's the Vatican hiding? So these theories and opinions ranged from plausible, which were aging, illness, or weight loss, altering his features, to suggestions that there was a double installed to keep the papacy running while the real Francis was sidelined. But I don't think that is such a bizarre and far out suggestion. These claims weren't entirely new. The Vatican has long been a lightning rod for speculation about hidden goings-on, from the mysterious death of Pope John I in 1978 to rumours of secret societies like Opus Dei pulling strings. But the 2025 photos struck a nerve. Francis's frail appearance during his hospitalisation, along with his limited public appearances, only deepened the mistrust. Some pointed to his pneumonia treatment, questioning whether it could have altered his appearance so drastically. Others wondered if the Vatican was using a stand-in to maintain stability during the Jubilee year, a time when millions flocked to Rome. If he was so sick, one said, why was he meeting Vance at all? And why does he look like a wax figure in that last photo? Well, don't forget, a lot of people look like wax figures once they've passed. They're not going to look as real as they did before. Medical experts might chalk it up to natural decline. Pneumonia, strokes, and age can ravage a person's appearance. But people on X were not convinced. They were saying things like, they've got tech to fake anything now, referring to advancements in deepfake technology. If they can make Harry and Meghan's kids look real, they can swap out a pope. Which brings us to the broader circus of distractions swirling around the same time. So as the Vatican mourned, the internet was inexplicably fixated on Meghan Markle's wardrobe. On April the 25th, 2025, X lit up with mockery over her latest outfit. Beige trousers so oversized that they pulled around her feet, dragging on the ground like a comedic costume. I thought immediately I saw it that she's trolling us. It's like she stole Catherine's clothes but forgot to hem them, and it looks deliberate. I think that it was totally intentional. She's going one step too far every time. Everything she does is just that little bit worse. As I said before, it's a show. They want us arguing about her trousers while the real stuff goes unnoticed. And what is the real stuff, you might ask? Well, could be the UK's bizarre announcement, reported around the same time, that the government would pump chemicals into the atmosphere to cool the sun. This claim, which surfaced in obscure outlets and was amplified on X, was met with equal parts of ridicule and outrage. One person said, they're admitting to chemtrails now. This has been happening for years, and now they're saying it out loud. Yes, it has. It's been happening for many years. Most of us know this. And the question is, why are they announcing this now as if it's something new? Or it's a plan. The whole plan sounded so outlandish that it's almost sounded like satire. But they were trolling us. Meghans' role is to keep the masses fixated on triviality. Her oversized trousers, her rumoured feud with Catherine, the endless speculation about her children's existence. All of it is served as an interesting but shiny object to divert attention. Harry wandering in London with his kids. I believe anything that comes from that would be AI. I believe that the reports about it were fabricated. I think it's to keep us playing detective, while things like the Epstein files, the real ones, sit in the shadows. And I'm not talking about the flight list, I'm talking about the real ones, the real files, the videos. Although the flight logs have been public for years, the real nitty-gritty videos, recordings, and names of high-profile figures remain elusive, but not for long. Some people on X are speculating that Meghan, with her Hollywood ties, might even be tangled in that web. I've wondered this myself. Nothing would surprise me, but she is very much small fry compared to what's coming. So, tying this all together, are we being played? So here we are, days after Pope Francis's death, sifting through a tangle of oddities, the Vance visit, shrouded in secrecy, followed by a sudden death, photos of a pope who might not be the pope, Meghan Markle tripping over her trousers while the UK talks about cooling the sun. It's enough to make you wonder what really is going on. Are we being fed a steady diet of absurdities to keep us from noticing the bigger picture? So, some questions. Why did Vance need to see Francis on Easter of all days when the Pope was reportedly so frail? What was so urgent that it couldn't wait? And why the radio silence on what they discussed? If Francis was sick enough to die hours later, why was he meeting foreign dignitaries at all? Then here's the face thing. Can illness really change someone that much, or are we looking at something else, a double, a deep fake? And why does the Vatican, with its history of secrecy, expect us to take their word at face value? And now let's look at Meghan. Why is her every move dominating headlines? When Klaus Schwab steps down from the WEF, the Epstein files loom, and governments casually admit to spraying chemicals. Is she a willing player in this game or just a pawn? And what about the UK's cool the sun nonsense? Why announce something so ridiculous now, just as Trump pushes back on chemtrails? He's saying it as it is, and the UK are only now just hinting about plans to do something. Talk about ridiculous timing. Is this to mock us, to make the truth sound like a joke? I think it is. The X comments paint a picture of a world where nothing is as it seems. Because people are waking up, that's why. How bizarre does it have to get before people realise that we're all being trolled? Possibly the Pope's death was natural? I think not. I think it's always, for a long time, it's been someone else. And what I believe is that J.D. Vance went there to, in a nutshell, give the Pope his P45. Or rather, the person portraying the Pope, to say, job well done. The President says you did a good job, and here you are. Handshake and gone. His role finished for now, until he plays the part of someone else. And as regards Meghan, maybe she really is just tone deaf. Maybe she is just really, really bad at fashion. But I think not. I think she wasn't that bad in previous years when she was acting in Suits. She had some idea of how to dress then, most of the time. So she's being used, or like I said before, she's playing a part. And as far as the cooling the sun, it's obvious to me that it's putting out something that has been going on to wake up those that have been fast asleep and hopefully make them realise that their family members or their friends that were pointing up and saying, look what they're doing years ago, many years ago, that they now might be thinking, oh, maybe they were right after all. So if they were right about that, maybe they're right about these other things too. You know, people that don't look the same anymore. People like the Pope, people like King Charles, and I could go on. Anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. So let me have your comments, and like, subscribe and ding the bell if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.